The internet didn't just react, it erupted. The FBI quietly released a 3.5 million page archive tied to Jeffrey Epstein, and within minutes, everything people thought they understood began to fracture. This isn't a leak, this isn't a rumor, this is an official document dump, so massive that no single human being could read it in one lifetime. 3.5 million pages, emails, calendars, internal memos, travel logs, interview summaries, tips, reports, drafts, and attachments. And almost immediately, researchers, journalists, and independent analysts began digging, and what they found is disturbing. Because for years, we were told there was no client list. We were told there was no evidence of blackmail. We were told the investigation was finished, closed, wrapped up, nothing more to see. But these files raise a brutal question. Were we lied to? And if so, who was being protected? Because the names appearing in these records are not nobodies. They are billionaires. They are tech leaders. They are political power brokers. They are people who shape economies, shape elections, shape public opinion. People you see every day on television. People who lecture the world about ethics, responsibility, and transparency. And suddenly their names are sitting inside FBI records tied to the most infamous trafficker in modern history. Now, before we go further, everything here must be said clearly. This material contains allegations. Some claims are unproven. Some come from anonymous sources. Some are second or third-hand information. No court has ruled on most of this. No verdicts have been issued. No guilt is being declared. But these are not internet screenshots. These are FBI files, official records, and the fact that they exist alone forces serious, uncomfortable questions. Let's talk about scale again, because it matters. 3.5 million pages. That's not transparency, that's a flood. It's so large that meaningful oversight becomes almost impossible. And that's important because earlier releases were tiny by comparison. Hundreds of pages, almost completely blacked out, thick black ink, names erased, dates erased, locations erased. It felt like a performance. Here's transparency, but you can't read it. This time, the black ink is gone, and suddenly we see names, email chains, calendar entries with exact dates, flight discussions, meeting plans, and every hour someone finds something new, another bomb, another contradiction, another public statement that no longer fits. First major shock? Bill Gates. His connection to Epstein has been acknowledged for years. Gates said it was about philanthropy, advice, charity, networking. That explanation was accepted by most people. But inside this new archive is a draft email allegedly written by Epstein in 2013. It's unclear if it was ever sent. It could have been a note, a reminder, a leverage draft. But the language is explicit, disturbing, and unmistakably coercive. Epstein allegedly writes that Gates once asked him to delete emails while in tears, emails allegedly related to sexually transmitted diseases. Then comes an even disturbing claim that Gates asked for antibiotics that could be secretly given to his wife. These are allegations, not proven, but this is the tone of blackmail. Epstein references confidentiality agreements, broken trust, and then pivots into solutions, property purchases, severance payments, removal from investment arrangements worth tens of millions. He never says, "Pay me or else," but the structure is classic. Do this and the problem goes away. Gates denies wrongdoing and says Epstein attempted to smear powerful people, but questions remain. Why did Melinda Gates later describe Epstein as evil personified? Why did she cite Epstein as one of the reasons for their divorce? If nothing happened, why such a strong reaction? The Wall Street Journal previously reported Epstein threatened Gates, and these files appeared to align with that. And after this alleged falling out, why was a $1 million donation to MIT still routed through Epstein? None of this proves guilt, but it proves the story is not as clean as we were told. Second shock? Elon Musk. Musk has publicly and repeatedly denied visiting Epstein's island. He mocked the claims, dismissed them aggressively, and said anyone spreading that narrative deserved contempt. His tweets are still online. But inside the FBI files, Epstein's calendar lists Musk in December 2014. That alone could be dismissed. Epstein exaggerated. But the archive also contains emails allegedly written by Musk himself. In 2012, Musk reportedly discusses being in the Caribbean with Epstein, asking if it's a good time to visit. Epstein responds, offering helicopter pickup. Musk allegedly replies, saying it would probably be just him and his then wife, and then asks a question that changes everything. What day is the craziest party on the island? If authentic, that single sentence reframes the entire public narrative. Other emails suggest Musk was seeking a party atmosphere, explicitly saying peace and quiet were not what he wanted. Epstein's responses are cryptic, even unsettling, mentioning ratios that might bother Musk's wife, raising questions about what exactly was being discussed. In 2013, another visit appears to be planned, again discussing being in the region, again asking if it's a good time to visit. And this time, according to the files, Epstein cancels, not Musk, which directly contradicts the public claim that Musk refused invitations. Musk's legal team has not yet responded directly to these specific emails. Third shock, Howard Lutnick. Now serving in one of the most powerful positions in the U.S. government, Lutnick has told a detailed story for years. He said he saw disturbing behavior in 2005, walked out, and never spoke to Epstein again. He even publicly called Epstein the greatest blackmailer in history, suggesting victims were filmed and extorted. But inside the files are emails from 2012, 7 years later. Emails coordinating travel logistics, asking for exact locations, planning dinner. Even more disturbing, one email lists the ages of multiple children traveling with them. Why list ages? Why emphasize minors? Why communicate at all if the relationship ended in disgust? And another email chain confirms meetings actually occurred. This directly contradicts years of public statements. If Epstein was such a threat, why was contact maintained? Fourth issue, the FBI itself. The FBI testified under oath that there was no credible evidence of blackmail and no client list. Yet these files contain draft emails with extortion language, correspondence showing leverage dynamics, internal notes referencing co-conspirators, and ongoing investigations. A cabinet member calls Epstein history's greatest extortioner, while the FBI says no evidence exists. Both cannot be correct. And then there's what we haven't seen yet, because this is only the beginning. Millions of pages remain unreviewed. Some tips are anonymous, some marked unreliable, which is standard. But when the names involved belong to people still in power, questions of conflict arise. Why were investigations closed? Why were names redacted? Why was the public told the story was over when clearly it wasn't? These files didn't just drop, they detonated, and the shockwaves are only starting.